Guys, today we're gonna do something a little bit different. Let's go on a road trip. That's right, today we're gonna leave the TVs and the AV gear and the air-conditioned comfort of our studio for Vernonia, Oregon. Let's go. So Vernonia is a lovely little town. It's about an hour or so northwest of Portland, nestled in the foothills of the Oregon Coastal Mountain Range. And there, we're going to meet Brandon. Brandon is one of the OG employees at Digital Trends. He's been there as long as I have, if not longer. Brandon is also, as you'll soon learn, possibly the best son-in-law on the planet. See, a couple of years ago, Brandon learned that his mother-in-law would need to get out of her house. So they hatched this plan to build her a beautiful ADU on a piece of property his family always dreamed of owning. And everything was going great, until things took a really nasty turn. See, Brandon got scammed pretty bad, and they lost a lot of money and precious time. As a result, their project, his mother-in-law's home, came to a grinding halt. And that's where our sponsor, Senville, comes in. Senville makes high-efficiency air conditioners and heat pumps. They even sell directly to the consumer. You can order their awesome products right off Amazon and install them yourself if you want. So Senville stepped in to provide one of its air conditioning and heating systems with installation for this new ADU project. Guys, this is gonna save Brandon and his family something like $10,000, which effectively puts their project back on track. All right, woo! It's hot already, which I suppose is perfect because this is a video about an air conditioner. Anyway, today you're gonna get to meet Brandon. You're gonna hear that story. We're gonna check out this Senville unit, watch it get installed, see how it operates, and at the end, we're gonna see how this is gonna change the life of Brandon's mother-in-law. So let's start with what Senville sent us here. There are two main components. One is the compressor/inverter heat pump, which will go outdoors. This is the 2-ton, 24,000 BTU version, but you can scale up or down in Senville's lineup as you need. This unit is gonna be plenty for this entire ADU, and it comes with a 10-year warranty. You get 5 years on all the other parts. Along with the compressor, we have an air control unit. Now, you can also get a mini split style component instead, but we wanted to service several rooms, so we're going central air style here. You'll see the installers running ducts to registers in different rooms shortly. This air control box can be installed horizontally in an attic, as we're doing here, or vertically in a basement, which is pretty cool. Get it? Those are the main components, but you're gonna get so much more along with them. All right, folks, well, the construction in the neighborhood has begun in earnest. There's a backhoe going on over there. We've got drilling going on in here. Pardon the noise, but I feel like it makes this whole thing seem pretty authentic, right? Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about right now is what comes as part of this shipment, whether you order it directly from Senville or you get it from a retailer like Amazon. Most of what you need for the installation is gonna be included here. Most, not everything. We already talked about the compressor and the air control unit here. What I wanna do is get down here on all the other stuff that comes included. I have learned, however, that this is the heating coils, which provides heat for the system. It's not just an AC, it is an AC and heat unit. Wall thermostat over there. We've got power cables, remote control, batteries, all kinds of fun copper tubing and fittings that I don't know what it does, but that's what the installers are for. The one thing I did want to mention here, though, is that while it comes with, I think this is 15 to 20 feet of refrigerant tubing, that may or may not be enough for your particular installation. So you might want to measure and figure out if this is going to be enough, and if it's not, you're going to need to get some supplemental tubing. The other thing that you might want to think about, if you go with the more mini split style system, where you're mounting that big box on one of the walls inside of your home, you're good to go. However, if you go with an air control box like this for a true centralized HVAC system, you'll need to think about the ductwork that's gonna run to all the different vents that you're gonna wanna run in the home. The installers are taking care of that for us today as well. Anyway, I think it's really important that most of what you need to get this system up and running is included in the box. So if you want to DIY this sucker, you certainly can. Be ready to sweat if you're DIYing this in the summer though. It is hot up here and we are so thankful for our installers today. Now, as you can see, they've gotten the air control box into place, and while we still need to run a few things back to the compressor, the first order of business is to get this ductwork done. But once that is done, we'll get that refrigerant tubing run out to where the compressor is going to go. It's going to be a while before we get to the compressor installation, which you're not going to want to miss because we have to overcome a little challenge at this property. But while this work is done, let's go visit Brandon and hear from him about why getting this system installed is such a big deal for him and his family. I spoke to Brandon out toward the back of his property, and as I said before, the road leading to this moment has been full of potholes and pitfalls. When Brandon's mother-in-law needed to get out of her house, they decided to pool their resources by selling her house and using some of the proceeds to build on this new property.
So the original plan was to build 2 houses, but zoning laws being what they are, we found that was very difficult to find the perfect property for that. So we decided, well, maybe we just do an ADU.
Yeah.
And then we found this property, it had a shop on it, and we learned that we could tear the shop down and build an ADU on it.
So they pulled the trigger and the adventure began.
We moved into the property, had the plan set in place, went through the process of tearing it down, found ourselves a contractor, shared a plan. Things went pretty well up to a point where we were getting everything that we wanted and it was coming together. And then, it just went sideways.
Brandon and his family learned that this contractor was not only doing shoddy work, not even close to code, but the money they turned over to buy materials hadn't been used to buy materials. Then the contractor just disappeared with all of their money, just gone.
Yeah, it was really, really upsetting. Mom-in-law sold her house. The plan was to take the equity from that, build the ADU, and kind of build her dream retirement home. It had a nice plan for it and a beautiful vision around it. And, we were bringing our income and she was bringing her equity and just kind of pulling our resources together. And really great plan.
Yeah.
We've been able to make it work, but I won't lie, it's been a big setback for us. I would say it set us back a couple of years financially.
Turns out they weren't the first victims of this scammer. So even though they filed a suit, they're like third in line. They probably won't ever get that money back. And so everything went on hold.
Yeah, it became really challenging at that point. It took us a couple of years to kind of get going again and get the project resumed.
But it's been slow going, basically starting from scratch. But this help from Senville is making a huge difference.
I mean, it really is like an answered prayer, We're talking thousands of dollars here where we're having to pay again because, we've paid to have this ADU built already. Right. And we're effectively paying for it twice now. And so anywhere where we can, cut costs makes a big difference for us because then we can reallocate that elsewhere in the project.
And while AC may seem like a luxury in the Pacific Northwest, that hasn't been true for over 15 years now.
It's essential.
Yeah.
I mean, we run ours every day, during the summer. And it was 2 years ago, we had the heat dome.
Yeah.
It got up to 117 degrees.
Yeah.
In Vernonia.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, people lost their lives as part of that. Brandon is, frankly, playing things down here. This has been really tough for them. But now we're gonna help get them back on track. And soon, Mom should be able to have her own space again. Okay, so back to the install. While we were away, the installers got all the ductwork done and ran a drain line out through the side of the house. Then they started running the refrigerant lines out to where the compressor is going to be. Now, this is where things get a little tricky. For reasons I'll explain in a moment, this compressor is not going down on a concrete pad, which is a great option for most folks. Instead, it's going to go on the side of the house. Now, if you know AC compressors, you know they make a lot of noise, traditionally. So the idea of that noise going through the walls, I know it sounds terrible, but one of the great things about Senville's compressor is that it's low vibration and remarkably quiet. We can put it on the side of the building and it is not going to buzz the ADU. Part of the reason it is so quiet also has to do with why it's so efficient. This Senville unit uses DC inverter technology, meaning it only uses as much power as it needs when it needs it. With conventional compressors, when it's on full tilt, guzzling way more power than you might need. By contrast, the Senville system sips power most of the time and only takes a few gulps when it has some seriously hard work to do. That translates into lower cooling bills during the hot summer months and lower heating bills during the winter. And we love that. Wow, guys, so I learned a lot today. Now that I've had a chance to check out this Senville unit in person, I understand how it gets installed. I understand how it works. It makes a lot of sense to me now. For the same upfront cost as it would take to get 3 or 4 high BTU window units, you can get just one system that's gonna more effectively cool your home and more efficiently cool your home. So much more efficiently than 3 or 4 window ACs, as a matter of fact, that you're gonna make the additional upfront cost back in just one summer. And from then on out, you're just saving a whole lot of money. That just makes good sense to me. You know what's really great about this whole project though, is that we got to get Brandon and his family hooked up. His mother-in-law is that much closer to having her home back, and a cool and comfortable one at that. That feels great. I want to say thank you again to Senville for paying for this video project, supplying the equipment and funding the install, and making Brandon's family's dreams come true. Thank you so much, Senville. If you are interested in this product, we're going to have links down in the description. If you'd like to purchase this product, we'll have shopping links down there as well. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like.